Hello, people of the internet. My name is Zach from Mostly Magic, and today I'm going to bring you my PSY-Frame deck profile for September 2016 or the August 29, 2016 ban list format. Since there's a regional going on in Garden City in a month, I'll be there. Go say hi and shit. The whole MCM squad's going, so we're going to be there. We've all just started to pick decks that what we're going to play. So far, this is the deck that seems the best and the most consistent out of all the decks that I could possibly play, even though I am trying to test multiple things at the moment, but it is so hard to test because I still don't have my computer, and the computers that I can borrow don't have YGO Pro or Dev Pro or Salvation or anything, and I don't want to try and download YGO Pro with 3D because I feel like unless they solve their shit and translate everything to where I can type it in English and I don't have to Google Japanese and Chinese translations, then I'll play it. But until then, I'm not going to do it. So right now, I'm kind of just testing against my friends. Probably what we're going to do is proxy up meta decks and just start playing them against each other and see which ones work out the best. So starting off with the PSY-Frames, we get 3 driver. I really want to play 2 of this card because this card fucking sucks to draw. But you gotta play 3 of it just because we don't have multi-threader yet. But once we get multi-threader, I'm probably gonna put this card to 2. So 3 alpha. He doesn't negate anything, but when your opponent summons a monster, while you have no monsters, you summon it and a driver, this fucker, and then search out a PSY-Frame card. So you can get Circuit, you can get Overload, you can get any of the cards that you need. So 3 beta, the best one. He stops the battle phase, so it's very easy. Just your opponent goes for a huge push, summon this, PSY-Frame, stop. And the thing is, the monster doesn't even have to die, it just needs to be there. So unless they link the monster, unless it's Dragon Spirit of White or Blue Eye Spirit Dragon, then you're gonna be perfectly fine. 3 gamma, negate monster effects, fuck you. Just get the fuck out of here. Summon driver. Then 3 delta, he's the one that negates spells. I kind of want to put him to 2 because spells aren't really relevant at the moment. But I'm playing him at 3 simply because, against Blue Eyes, you can negate their trade-in, you can negate their melody, you can negate the cards of consonants, and it's really good, so I play. And then 3 card E. You could play this at 2, but I'm playing it at 3 simply because I want to see it. I want to have a turn 1 play where I know I'll summon this, set some back row, activate a circuit, draw 2 cards, and move on with my life. So there's that. And then last but not least, 2 copies of Honest. You do not have a good Blue Eyes matchup. You just don't. So I'm playing Honest simply because you can summon a PSY-Frame, summon a driver, put both of them in attack position. Your opponent's going to be like, what are you doing? If you have Circuit, this is much easier to bluff. But if you don't have Circuit, it's very, it's a giveaway that you have a hand trap. So, but, they attack your Synchro with, a Chaos Max, and then you're like, Honest, motherfucker. I'm at 5,800 attack. So unless they have their own Honest, they can't win. That does it for the monsters. I'm playing 20 monsters. 17 of them are hand traps, so. Onto the spells. 3 PSY-Frame Circuit. This is the best card in the deck. Lets you Synchro Summon during your opponent's turn. Boosts up all your PSY-Frames. Very accessible through Overload and Alpha. Right now I'm not playing any Terraformings, simply because I just don't want to put them in the deck, and there's not enough room in the deck. However, I probably will test, this is the Terraforming list build. It's working perfectly fine. However, I'll probably throw 1 Terraforming in before the regional, maybe. I'm not sure yet. 3 Pod Duality. You never do anything turn 1 except normal summon a card D, and this can get you to a Floodgate. This can get you to a card, can get you to whatever. So I'm playing 3 Pod Duality. 3 Psychic Field Zone. To me, this is just you need to see the spell. You don't really have much recovery in this deck, so you just want to play this because it gives you recovery. And you can run a lot of high-level synchros with it. If your Omega and stuff stay banished, so there's that. Or if your opponent says you can't banish for the turn and your stuff has to stay on board, this lets you make a synchro without having to and then they flip up fucking lose a turn or whatever, you can just still make a synchro. 1 Upstart Goblin, and then 1 Psychic Path. I feel like I might put Psychic Path to 2, but I'm not entirely sure yet just because I don't think this card's very good, but I'm playing it at 1. I might cut it. I don't know. That's it for spells. I think 11 spells. For traps, 3 PSY-Frame Overload, This card's broken. This card's at 3 for no reason. Banish a PSY-Frame monster from your hand to field to banish a card on the field face down. So, and if it's in grave, you can banish it and search, and if you have Omega, it's a free search every turn. So, that's just broken. 3 Rivalry. I feel like you have to play 3 of this in the deck currently just because I don't have Drownings. Surprise, I don't. I'm broke. So this is just like a way to stall your opponent. That way they can't just push. And then if they out this, go for a push, you have Beta to stop their battle phase, and you can live. So that's nice. 2 Dark Bribe. This can keep your field spell alive from like Twin Twister. Like if they go end phase Twin Twister, you flip a Dark Bribe. Statistically, the card that they draw is going to be less good than the one you negate, unless it's second Twin Twister. But then again, they have to discard another card for it. So. And then 1 Solemn Warning, simply because I want the ability to negate summons, and I don't have strikes. So that does it for the main deck. 40 cards. Moving on to the extra deck. The 1 PSY-Frame Lord Omega. I want to get a second one really badly, but it is $60, and I still can't play in my regional yet because I'm broke and I don't have any money because I've been trying to pay bills and shit and like survive. So 1 Omega at the moment. I'm gonna get a second one, hopefully, or I'm gonna borrow it from a friend of mine because I know he has one that he'll probably let me borrow. So there's that. And then 3 Zeta. This card is really good. Lets you banish a face-up attack position monster your opponent has that special summon. Remove it and the monster from play, and they'll both come back. And then, if it's in the graveyard, you can target it and a PSY-Frame card in the graveyard, and you add them both to your hand. But Zeta goes to extra deck again. 1 Ancient Fairy and 1 Ancient Pixie Dragon. I would cut one of these for the second Omega. More than likely Pixie, because she doesn't do anything. Ancient Fairy lets you get PSY-Frames out of your hand to go for damage, and then this lets you draw a card when you activate a field spell. So if you have multiple circuits and you make Pixie, you can play circuit over circuit, draw a card. So there's that. 1 Black Rose, because Black Rosing your opponent during their turn is broken, like for real. Psychic Life Transfer. This is how you win in time. Once per turn, you can banish a Psychic from your graveyard to gain 1,200 life points. So if you're in like a grind fest and both players can't do anything, you just make this start gaining life points, and then when you go to time, you'll just win. 1 Odd Eyes Meteor Burst. If your opponent's on a floating deck, you just make this one win, just because they can't do anything about it. Yazi, because this is just like a nice 1-for-1 removal spot. It can pop like an anti-spell, or it can pop like a Mind Drain or whatever, so it's really good to get out of that. Stardust Spark to protect your field spell. Thought Ruler Archfiend to protect all your psychics. A good board is like Omega Stardust Spark, and then like an Overload, because then you can just protect the Overload. And then Scarlight, because this card is nuts if you make it during your opponent's turn, because then during your turn you just get to blow up their whole board. And then 1 Hyper Psychic Blaster. You make this if you have a banished Zeta and a Gamma. It deals piercing damage, and then if it kills something, you gain life points, right? Yeah, it deals piercing, and then you gain life points equal to the piercing damage it deals. So if you swing over, like, I don't know, a White Stone of Ancient, they take 2,500 and you gain 2,500, so that's really good. And then 1 Overmind Archfiend, he's just a floater. You make him with Zeta. You make this with, like, plus 2 or more. So you have to do it with, let's see, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't even know how you're supposed to make this. I really don't. I guess like Zeta. I really don't know how you're supposed to make this. I'll figure it out. But anyway, this guy floats. Once per turn, you banish a Psychic from the graveyard, and then when he dies, all the monsters that were banished come out to the field. So that does it for the extra deck. On to the side deck. The side deck's kind of just 15 good cards that I had. It's nothing really special, so let's get the extra deck out of the way. 1 Neospatian Grand Mole. This is my interesting little tech here. You summon it, you can attack over something, bounce that, and then this to your hand, and then all of a sudden you have no monsters on board, and you can trigger all your PSY-Frames. This really loses to like Veiler, Breakthrough Skill, Book of Moon, stuff like that. But if you resolve it, you kind of just like out any monster in the game. Like, you kind of just attack, And that, like if they don't have any battle traps, you can like solve problems on the board like Dark Destroyer stuff. Like if you're up against a Monarch player and they have like March up on board, summon this Swing Mouse. Fucking tired. 2 Dark Hole, just because like you're never gonna really have a board state, so you can just Dark Hole your opponent after they build a board. Defissure. You don't mind about getting your monsters banished. You really don't care that much. Let's you set this in against like BA, Monarch, Pendulum and stuff, so it's really good. I'm side decking 2 copies of MST for demise decks, just because like they're gonna also like you usually side this in every match because your opponent will try to side in Decree against you, and Decree really slows you down. It doesn't make you lose the game, but it slows you down, and you don't want to deal with that, so I play it. 1 Book of Moon, just to deal with BA. You put their monster face down. If they have Tour Guide, you Book of Moon the monster that they Tour Guide, and you kind of just win. 2 Spell Shattering Arrow for Pendulum, and that's it for the spell cards. For the trap cards, Skill Drain and Macrocosmos. These cards are just legit broken as fuck. Like, Skill Drain is actually amazing in this deck, because if you make a Synchro like Omega or Zeta, you can banish them from the field. You activate their effects, and they banish themselves as cost. Or Omega does. Zeta doesn't, so Skill Drain doesn't really hurt you that much. So you easily set in against decks that does hurt, because all your PSY-Frames activate and resolve in the hand, so when they hit the board, it doesn't matter that their effects negated. So, and then if you have Circuit, you can Synchro Summon into whatever Synchro you want. Usually just usually if you have Skill Drain, you make Scarlight, just because it's 3,000 attack and it's really hard to get over. So, and then Macrocosmos is for BA, Monarch, Pendulum, the stuff we mentioned that Defissure hurts. It's also like good against Mermail, because you go first against Mermail, you open this, you flip it, and you win. Any deck that you side in Defissure, you also side in Macrocosmos. 2 copies of Imperial Iron. Well, you don't want your stuff being banished, you just don't. You can avoid it, you try to keep your stuff off the banish pile, but if it goes there, it goes there. Nothing you can do about it. Might put this to 3, I'm not sure yet. And then 2 copies of Grand Horde of Heaven. Just more summon negation again. You don't care that they draw a card. You're stopping their plays. So that's something you want to do. So that is it for my PSY-Frame deck profile. Again, additions, 2nd PSY-Frame Omega, 3 Drowning, what else? Oh god, what the hell are we trying? Max Seed, the main deck or side deck, doesn't really matter. But that's about it. I really wouldn't change much. The deck's super solid. Like, if you know what you're playing against, and you know what role you have to take, then you'll just win any match. Like, you can win every matchup. The only like difficult matchup I've found is Mermail. But through just testing and playing, because I have a buddy of mine who plays Mermail, it's not that bad of a matchup. It's kind of like 50-50 because of the way the deck is built. Your monsters are just bigger than theirs. Your effects are better. And the thing is, they run out of cards in hand more than you run out of cards in hand. So it's still a matchup that goes either way. Just I feel like I should mention that. You don't really have any bad matchups. Blue Eyes is kind of rough, which is why I'm playing the Honest in the main deck. But other than that, you should be perfectly fine. You can negate everything your opponent does. Your traps are really good. You have really good synchros. In the side deck, you have Hate just for everything. So let me know what you think of the deck in the comment section down below. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that shit. My name is Nick from Most Indie Magic. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. I can end this. No. If I can end this fucking video.